Hello, this is Liz Wendling, the host of the Everyone Sells Something show, a sales show geared toward entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals who love what they do, but they don't love the sales part of their business. But they're smart enough to know that no sales equals no business, and they want to confidently and consistently close sales in a way that feels good to them and aligns with who they are. Everyone does sell something. Whether you sell a product, a service, an idea, a talent, a skill, or a passion, you are in sales. If what you do requires you to talk to people, build relationships, have sales conversations, and eventually move those conversations to close business, then you are in sales. All the marketing, all the advertising, all the networking, social media, and prospecting you do will not matter if people are not saying yes to you and you're not closing business. You are selling every day through your actions and your words. Your ability to communicate effectively will determine if people trust you, buy from you, follow you, listen to you, or dismiss you. Today's episode is on value-based selling. Value-based selling is a wide and deep topic with many facets. We could be here for hours talking about the subject of value, and I'm going to hone in on a few of those aspects today. You have likely heard value described in many ways, such as delivering value, conveying value, adding value, selling value, communicating value, bringing value, translating value, just to name a few. So we're going to pull apart a few of those pieces today, and I'll give you some examples so you can have some concrete examples to use in your sales meetings and on your sales calls. Keep in mind, value can only be identified by the potential client and customer because different people place significance on different things and to different extents when it comes to value. I am the owner of Insight Business Consultants and the author of Sell Without Selling Your Soul and the Heart of Authentic Selling. And as a sales and business consultant, much of my work revolves around helping companies and individuals nationwide to revive, to refresh, and to modernize their sales approach, language, and process so they can close more business. I write, I teach, I speak, and I preach sales. Sales are my superpowers. I work with business owners and entrepreneurs by coaching them how to connect, communicate, and close with confidence and authenticity and permanently raise their bottom line through long-term strategies. I do not believe in quick fix solutions. And my all-time favorite people to work with are growth-oriented professionals who are ready and willing to be more conscious, more authentic, and more intentional about how they approach and engage prospects and clients. My goal in every book I write, every video I create, every keynote I give, or any podcast I'm on is not to try to convince you that I'm right and you're wrong, or my way is the highway, or that my way is even the only way. Not at all. I'm offering you a glimpse into a different way of doing things, another opinion, and another way around how you're approaching sales. Or even if I could challenge your current sales mindset and thought process. And I, again, will not tell you I'm right and you're wrong, but I want you to just put a different hat on as we move through talking about value today and see if there's a nugget that you can pick up that you can use tomorrow. Now, let's talk value. Today's consumers are having a tough time seeing your value and having a tough time telling the difference between one business from the next. In your prospect's eyes, your services, your products, your business appear to be the same as all of the others in your industry or in your practice area, and you're being viewed as a commodity. And because that, the consumer thinks you're the same. And because they think you're the same, they also believe that you should charge the same and your fees should be the same or pretty darn close. And in the absence of value, almost any product or service can be driven down to one thing, and that's price. If you deliver value, you will never have to compete on price because you don't want to compete on price because there'll always be somebody cheaper than you. Don't allow price to become the default position. Don't allow your fees to be the only point of reference available for separating one option from another. When you fail to differentiate yourself, you fail to prove value. And I always ask people, who defines value? And who do you think defines value? It's the receiver, not the giver. The burden of proof is going to be on you. You must contribute value to your prospective client's definition of value, not yours. Potential clients and customers care about themselves and how your value relates to them. It must connect. And a little later, I'll show you how to close that loop for them and connect that for them. Because unless they feel like you can help them with the things that they actually care about, they're going to go elsewhere. And what do they care about? They care about themselves. They care about their pains, their problems, challenges, issues, headaches, heartaches, dilemmas, and they want to achieve their goals. So unless you move the conversation to value, you'll find yourself selling on price. And as clients listen to your solutions, they are trying to decide if what you sell is worth the money, the risk, the time, and the energy and the attention to make a change. Value is the difference between the fees that you charge and the benefits that your prospect perceives that she will derive from paying those fees. If your prospective clients see that she will receive an extensive benefit for the price that she pays, then her perception of value is high. You control the dial of that perception of value. And the more you focus on the value that you deliver, the less significant price becomes. Now, I want you to be thinking about value in these ways, because value doesn't just show up in one or even two or three or five ways. Wait till you hear how many other ways you can drop value. Value comes in many forms. It's not just tangible dollars and cents. And some people forget that they can be conveyed in these ways as well. Grab a pen. Value comes in the way that you show up and connect with someone. Value is the unique perspective that you offer, the experience that you bring to the conversation or consultation, the wisdom you impart, the humor you use, the emotional connection you create, the way you make another person feel, the way that you do the work that you do. Maybe it's your speediness, your thoughtfulness, your kindness, your generosity, maybe the way you care, it's your insight. What about your opinion to solving problems? Maybe it's your personality, your ideas, your connections, your priorities, your dedication to the vision. All right. And that's just to name a few. But the only reason someone gives you their money is because they believe the value you provide is absolutely worth it. Let me give you an example here. There's a lot of people who wouldn't dream of paying $4 or $5 for a bottle of water, or paying $11 for a plastic cup of beer at a football game. Something that the cost of a meal in a nice restaurant is astronomical and would never pay $32 for a hamburger. But does that stop businesses from doing business or serving people who are delighted to pay that price and actually prefer it because it matches their story that they tell themselves about value, about the value they're getting? So that does not stop a business. Business goes on, and value is in the eye of the beholder. No matter what you believe about the worth of your services, it is the client who decides the significance of what you provide. The client is the final judge of value. What's valuable to one person might not be appreciated by another. Value is personal to each prospect. I will say that over and over again throughout our time. Until you find out what each individual values and you can speak to that, you will always be beaten out by someone with a lower price. If a potential client informs you that he is going with a competitor who has lower fees, then he is telling you that he does not see enough of a difference in the things that are of value to him to pay the difference in price. There is no different than, let's say, there's no difference in, let's use whether you're buying a computer or a car, a camera, a boat, and maybe appliances, boots, or home furnishings. If all of the choices appear to be the same, Why would someone pay more? Why, if you were out shopping and you saw two blouses or two ties that looked identical and you couldn't see the value and couldn't see the difference, then of course you're going to buy the lower priced one because you don't see the difference in the value. It is a common fallacy that people buy based on fees and price. Some do, of course, but most people buy based on value or their perception of value. Some businesses open their doors with the thought that they will hop into the market and offer the lowest price and their business will do fine. And some do, but they soon see how false that assumption is. You can't always be the lowest price because you will eventually go out of business. So think of it this way: prospective clients are afraid to part with their money. Money equals security. And it doesn't matter whether you're asking someone to part with $195, $1,995, or $19,995. People are happy to spend their money when they see there is more value in what you're selling than in keeping their money. In almost every buying situation, your prospective client or customer whips out those scales, that's imaginary set of scales that are in their mind, that's in your mind as well. And in the decision-making process, the prospect uses those scales to weigh the value of the product or service being considered. The weighing games begin so they can determine if the value that they would receive is worth the money that they would be required to spend. Prospects are determining if it's worth the money, the risk, the time, and the attention. If the prospective client feels that what you offer is worth what they think that they can get for less, they won't do business with you. Just like the tie and the blouse scenario, they will perceive the value of your offering as similar to your competitor. To them, it is the same, and why pay more? And people don't always buy based on the lowest price. No one believes that the lowest price ever equals the best quality. You don't win clients, opportunities, and business on price. You win them on the value you create, the value you generate. Consider that if price was the only thing that mattered and everyone on the planet was looking for the least expensive option, then everyone would be driving the cheapest car. They'd be shopping in the cheapest stores, and no one would go to Nordstrom's, no one would fly first class, and we'd all be drinking Folgers and not going to high-end coffee shops. So be on the lookout for that. People buy based on the value they perceive. They're not looking for the cheapest cup of coffee or the cheapest car that they can drive. The key question that your potential clients want answered is this. You have likely heard it before. What is in it for me? Because again, I'm going to pound this into your head. Never forget, the customer is focused on one thing: themselves, their own priorities. It doesn't make any difference how wonderful your product or service is, or what a fabulous person you are. You could be terrific and kind. It doesn't matter to them. Your potential client is looking for specific solutions that resolve their personal pains, problems, and challenges. So again, until you know what your potential client or customers value, and they can clearly see that your product or service offers that, you will not have a chance to make the sale. Now, they may nod and they may agree, and they may say that they will do business with you or put a proposal together or let me get back to you. But in reality, they're not coming back because they just don't see the value in your offers to pay the price that you are asking. Potential clients are asking this. And I'm like I said earlier, I'm going to show you how to connect this. But here's what they're thinking, and here's what they want you to do. I need you to connect your information to me and my world in ways that contribute to me as I define it. I cannot get that on my own. That's your job. I need you to make the links between your solution or why your product or service or offering and the value that you provide is unique to me. Why? Because that's your job. You have to do that. Now think of it this way. If you've done your job of asking good questions and you listen carefully to the answers, you already should have a very good understanding of the value that your potential client is looking for. If you've done a great job doing that, then you know exactly what they're looking for. So let's talk about features, benefits, and value. Most professionals today still sell features and benefits all day long, all day, every day, but they neglect to add value. And I always say that features and benefits is selling like you got stuck in the 80s and 90s, but when you sell with features, benefits, and value, you've moved up to the modern age. Without the value, your customers and potential clients are left on their own to decide what your value is. The issue of the feature benefit statement that we've all heard of is that it assumes that everyone you talk to will benefit the same way from a certain feature, that every single person that you talk to wants the same value. And this is what makes those one size fits all value-based statements and assertions fall apart. One size of value does not fit all. You cannot claim that all potential clients and customers are the same. And if you do, you're ignoring their unique perspectives and their unique situations. Now, most people do not personally care about the features and benefits. They just don't. They don't care about your company or your product and service. They truly don't. What they care about all day, every day, is what your value brings to them. It's about their specific needs and how you can meet them and if you will meet them. So here are a couple of examples. Let's start with just your basic feature and benefit statement. But first I'll explain to you, a feature is an attribute of your product or service, and basically it describes an aspect of it. And a benefit is the outcome or the result that users will experience by using your product or service. And that's usually where it stops. It's a feature and the benefit of that. Value is what they receive. And again, value that's important to them. It's the value that the customer identifies as value and not what you think is value. So some of the boring and bland and unpersuasive feature and benefit statements that have no value sound like this. Now, I'm going to say them. I want you to listen to them, but I don't want you to ever do this. I want you to have an idea of what a feature and benefit boring statement sounds like, and then what it sounds like with value. So let's say a feature is, let's call it a state-of-the-art website hosting software. That's what you're selling. And if that's the feature. Now, the benefit is stable hosting software that can meet high volume demands, and it's maintained 24 hours a day, every day. Big deal. That's a feature and that's a benefit. Another one, feature, is a home located on a beautiful cul-de-sac. The benefit is it's in your preferred neighborhood and close to the elementary school your kids go to. Again, feature, benefit, boring and bland. Here's another one. Feature, these tires come with traction control. Great. Benefit, your car will grip the road better. Big deal. I know that. Now you're not telling me any value. And I always say to people, the feature and benefit is the so what, big deal. I already know that. I've done my research. I can get that on my own. I need you to connect the value. So show me the value and how that value relates to me and what I've already shared with you. And the only way to show that you care is to ask those quality questions, listen to those answers, and then you connect the dots between your product and service and the buyer's unique needs. So people will tell you what's important to them if you listen to them. Without finding out what someone values through listening, you are merely telling them what you think is of value to them. Find out what matters to your buyer and what they value when making a buying decision. Value is specific to them, remember, and value exists in the mind of the evaluator. Now, let me go through those examples again, adding the value and how connecting the dots actually connects it in the prospect's mind and makes them start nodding their head yes, which means this person gets me. This person listened to me. This person really does understand me and took the time to find out what was important to me. So value sounds like this. Let's use the hosting example. So remember, that was the state-of-the-art hosting software. Big deal. How many people have that? Benefit is stable hosting software that can meet high volume. Okay, high volume demands. Great. Isn't that what all the benefits of that are today? And it's maintained 24 hours a day. I sure would hope so. Now, the value. Here is where a feature and benefit is necessary to use, but unless you add this component, you're leaving it up to the potential client to get the value. So let's say I say something like, Stephen, you shared with me earlier your desire to work with a company that operated all day and night and has someone on staff to watch and be alert for potential threats and issues on your company website. I know you said your main concern was in the launching of your new product, and you indicated that you did not want to suffer a crash on your site on such a big day. With us and the 24-hour services we provide, you can be confident that your site won't go down with the latest product offering goes viral. And I took what Stephen shared with me, his concern about working with a company that was there for them 24/7, because the big concern was launching a new product can actually crash a site. And I wanted to make sure that Stephen felt like I heard every word you said. I understand your pains, problems, and concerns, and I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen. Now, if I just stopped at, we have a state-of-the-art hosting software and it's stable enough to meet high volume demands, that's not enough. You must add the value. And let's go into one more example. Let's go back to the home is located on a cul-de-sac. There's plenty of homes located on a cul-de-sac, but the benefit is it's in your preferred neighborhood and close to your children's school. That's lovely. But when you add the value statement to it, it makes the person feel, again, like you listened, you got her. So let's say I said to Pamela, this home is located on a quiet cul-de-sac and is a stone's throw from the kids' school. Or you can jack it up your value and explain it in such a way that Pamela knows that you heard her concerns and understand what Pamela truly values. And you might say, Pamela, you shared with me a little earlier about your concern around not buying a home on a busy street because you have 3 young children and they're very active and like to be outside. Because this home is tucked away in a quiet cul-de-sac, you'll feel safe when the kids are outside playing, and you don't have to worry about distracted drivers or about the traffic up and down the street. And the nice part about this street is that the people who drive on it are mostly the people who live here. Plus, it's super close to the kids' school, so they can eventually walk to and from school as they get older. And Pamela might say, absolutely, I am so concerned about their safety. And you're right, the traffic has gotten so congested around here in the last few years. And I have enough to worry about with the kids playing outside, let alone watching for so many distracted drivers. Now, it is up to you to hear what Pamela mentioned earlier. You must connect the value dots for her. Pamela dropped her value bomb that she required safety and proximity to a school that's near, that her home would be near. These things were her driving factors in purchasing a home. Pamela might not have thought through the safety concern, but when you bring it back to her and you tie it into the conversation you had, you convey, I heard you. I heard every word you said to me. And I listened so much that I brought it back up and connected the dots for you. You never have to say that. You just have to convey that. And that's when Pamela starts shaking her head and saying, you're right. And a whole host of things go on when you have somebody shaking their head and truly feeling like you care about them and you are in it for the relationship and the value, not just the sale. And many professionals fall into their own trap, believing that what they sell is valuable. And it's not valuable until your potential client recognizes that value. That is why connecting the dots is so important. Your prospective client implies that, or I should say, your perspective implies that everyone should recognize the value in your product and service. and that that's just not possible. They are not there to be able to pick up on that value. It is up to you to be able to do that. And there is no better way to reveal how much you care than by understanding and responding to your customer's unique needs and what he or she personally values. And this is very different than pitching generic features and trying to turn them into very common benefits. Personalized value makes all the difference. Personalized value is where people start to connect themselves to you and they see themselves wanting to do business with you. If you offer this kind of value, it is the best way for you to look modern and knowledgeable. Value cannot be generic, and it cannot be mechanically and mindlessly built into your client conversations and sales meetings. You must do this with every buyer in every consultation, in every meeting, every single time. Adding value, talking about value, and conveying value doesn't come in a one-size-fits-all script or one-size-fits-all value statement. It comes from caring about your potential clients. Caring about the buyer means you want to understand them and care enough to offer solutions that will solve their unique problem. And you do it with a feature and a benefit and a value statement, never missing the value. Bake this skill into your bones and into your meetings and in your consultations and conversations. And when you do, your meetings will never be the same. And you get to join the ranks of those top professionals who do this with every single sales meeting or conversation they have. Given the competitive nature of business these days, you have to ask yourself, how do you separate yourself with so much competition out there, so many other options available? How do you show a prospect that you're not like all the other professionals that they may be considering? How do you provide the type of value that would make a prospective client pay higher fees for your expertise? You tip the scales in your favor because you're a trusted advisor and you showed that. You're someone who helped them see things through a different lens. You shined a light on something that they didn't realize. And it's not that they're oblivious, it's just that they have so many other things going through their mind when they're in a buying situation that it is your job to help them connect that value to what you sell. That is your job, and it will always be that job. So the next time you hear, I need to think it over, I don't have the money, let me talk to my spouse, I'll get back to you, ask yourself why it surfaced in the first place. And did you do a good job not only discussing value, but connecting the dots? If your potential client can't see that value, they can't see themselves buying from you. Smart and savvy business owners know that they are in complete control and totally responsible for what doesn't and does happen in their business. You know that you are in control, and you know it so much that you wouldn't dream of blaming your marketing. You don't blame the competition. You don't blame the customer, and you don't blame the economy. You know one thing: you win or lose a sale because of one thing and one thing only, and that's yourself. Information is nice, but if you can't take information and create a transformation, it doesn't matter. You can listen to webinars and podcasts and teleseminars, but if all you do is take in the information and you don't use it to create transformation, then you're wasting your time. Information, if information can change people, my gosh, all we have to do is listen to a podcast or one webinar, then that would be great, but that's not how it works. You've got to take a nugget, see if it works for you, go in there and implement that and put it to work in your unique business. I have a free offer for you, and that is an audio program that is all about your sales language and how you can change your sales language online and offline so that you can close more sales. And I am a phone call away. I'm always a phone call or email away. And you can call to discuss your specific sales goals and business needs. And together we can identify any of those roadblocks that are right in your way of achieving your revenue goals or closing more business. And we'll map out a personalized blueprint and create your sales growth blueprint. If you want to make a difference in your business, you can. All you need to do is let go of the resistance. If you know there's a place in your business that needs a little help and you don't know where to start or how to get moving or any of the steps that you need to take in order to stay moving, I'll ask you to make the next move. That's the only move you have to make. Let's start with a conversation. Everything starts with a great conversation. And if I can't help you, I can point you in a direction of someone that can. And the Sales Experts channel is a great place to go for that. There is tons of experts on there for your specific challenges. And one last thing, I see so many business owners misdiagnose themselves and they wind up fixing sales issues with something that usually doesn't address the real problem. And what they do is they listen to others, or someone tells them to try a specific tactic and they go try it, but it doesn't work for their business. It worked for them, but it didn't work for your unique business. And sometimes they're trying a tactic a week, or they're trying a new skill a day. And what that leads to is pulling your hair out. You wind up being tapped out, stressed out, and maxed out, and you feel like you're spinning plates and running in circles. We don't have time to do that anymore. And you don't have time to figure out everything on your own. Plus, doing this on your own is the most expensive way to grow your business. It costs you time, energy, clients, and opportunities. If you want a future better than your present, you must make a move. And I encourage you and tell you, email or call me and let's start a conversation. Thank you for your time. Don't forget, value-based selling is where it's at. And I look forward to our next podcast.